portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The Department of Social Services is expanding the reach of its Visa prepaid card to another island, this time to Andros.
Cleopatra Murphy joined Minister of Social Services, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, for today's launch of the card, which she says will revolutionize how the department handles its clients.
Andros became the third island to utilize the prepaid Visa card as the Department of Social Services moves to modernize the way it delivers food assistance to clients. 85-year-old Elizabeth Boleg was the first of 168 residents of North Andros presented with the Visa prepaid card Tuesday morning. The card will replace the less efficient food stamp system, and Boleg says she is grateful for the change.
Sometimes when you go down to the place to get your food stamp, you got to be so long, so much ahead, and you got to let them sew your voice and things like that. But now you ain't got to let them sew your voice, because you could just swap yours and you go and get your food. So that's a blessing from God.
The prepaid card was first launched on New Providence in November 2014. Minister of Social Services, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, says the expansion of the card throughout the islands is all a part of the department's efforts to reform the country's social safety net.
We have and will continue to work on strengthening the institutional capacity of the Department of Social Services, improve the dignity of our clients. Also, we want to be able to improve the service delivery.
Money is placed on the card monthly, and an advantage is recipients do not have to purchase all their grocery items at once. Griffin told Androsians they were the first group to receive a card that was already fully loaded, allowing them to use it immediately. She says recipients were re-evaluated to determine need.
We don't just cut anybody cold turkey. We say, well, okay, you've been on it a certain length of time. We'll give you 3 more months, and then no, you can't use it. You're going to be taken off. 6 months, even up to a year in some cases, based on the situation, each individual case. Okay, because it's not our desire that anyone should really suffer because they've been taken off. But at the same token, ain't nobody making $3,000 a month supposed to be getting no food assistance.
The department has partnered with the Bank of the Bahamas on this initiative. Operations Manager Vanessa Taylor stressed the importance of card safety.
This card is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than cash. There are people fighting to get this information to perform fraudulent activities, not just here, but all over the world. And so with that, it is critical that you secure this precious item.
Today's cardholders joined the 6,966 clients already on the program on Grand Bahama and New Providence. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Since her last visit to the Bahamas 10 years ago, South Africa's then Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madame Zuma, has since moved on to higher heights as the chair of the African Union Commission, where she has the superintendence and leadership of 54 countries on the continent of Africa. Her relationship with the Bahamas was further solidified today as she and her delegation paid a courtesy call on this country's head of state, Her Excellency Governor General Dame Marguerite Pinling, and Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie, and members of his cabinet. At Government House, Madame Zuma was further welcomed during a luncheon. The Prime Minister spoke highly of the AU chairperson, describing her as a true friend of the Bahamas.
But we are grateful for a relationship that was formed and one that endures now. And so I really wanted to say that, using this opportunity here in the Bahamas, to say that and to thank you and the President at the time for involving himself in a way that was intended simply to keep the calm and the peace in Haiti as opposed to any aggressive action on our part. Having said that, I want personally to congratulate you for the fact that you have moved from the office of the Foreign Ministry to now the African Union, where the work is a really defining work that you're doing.
Madame Zuma's visit to the Bahamas ends tomorrow. She and her delegation will then continue on to Cuba, where she is expected to meet with President Raul Castro. She used the opportunity today, though, to call for strength in ties between Africa and the Caribbean and thank the Bahamas for its role in the fight to end the apartheid regime.
We need to continue because though the struggle for freedom is over, but there are lots more struggles that we still have to fight. So the issue of solidarity between Africa and the Caribbean, which was founded by the founders of the CARICOM and the founders of the AU, still need to continue. He was just telling me that you are trying to get to the Human Rights Council, so it would be our responsibility to try and mobilize African countries to lend support to your candidature, because it's very important that we as a people keep those links not only in word but also in action.
The benefit of literacy was highlighted at the Claridge Primary School today during a special assembly. And as Carla Palmer tells us, the event was in observance of the annual Literacy Day celebrated on September 29th every year.
One by one, education officials took to the podium at Claridge Primary School today, telling students about the importance of being able to read and write. The information summed up this way by the Minister of Education, Science and Technology, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald.
Basic reading skills have the power to change your life as children. Literacy unlocks your imagination and allows you to travel the world.
To borrow the proverbial phrase of putting your money where your mouth is, Minister Fitzgerald did just that as a demonstration of his commitment to the message.
I donated $15,000 worth of books last year for the literacy program, and I've committed to the principle that I will donate another $15,000 worth of books to Claridge Primary.
With the correlation between crime and education, officials are hoping to catch this generation of children early to ensure the choice between picking up a book and a gun is non-existent.
Too many of our kids are leaving school after 12 years without being functionally literate. We do our students and our country a grave disservice when we allow children to attend school for 12 years and leave unable to read and write and function properly in society.
Reportedly, this group of students are already demonstrating their grasp of how important reading and writing is. According to the school's Southeastern District Superintendent, Ulysses Benaby, the results of the grade level assessment test by grades 3 and 6 students indicate this.
Last year, Claridge Primary School in language skills was 49.16. 49.16. This year, in 2015, it's 77.86. In grade 3, reading comprehension last year was 21.42. This year, it was 52.42. Wow. Listening comprehension, 34.09. This year, 66.66. Last year, science was 67.18, which was high, and this year it was 73.52.
Clearly, this group of students are intent on fulfilling their theme of using literacy as a passport to excellence. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Financial Services Minister Hope Strawn challenging junior counselors to continue doing their part to improve their communities. The minister's comments came during the closing conclave for the local government junior council program this morning. Here's Fern Carey.
Local government junior counselors got an opportunity to interact with their peers from other family islands as they mark the end of their first term in office. The Junior Counselors Program is a youth arm of local government and paves the way for the youngsters to become future community leaders. Minister of Financial Services, the Honorable Hope Strawn, who also has responsibility for local government, lauded the junior counselors on their achievements and service to their respective communities.
I have heard that you have, after hearing the complaints of the students at Central Andrews High School for a new track and field complex, the local government junior council petitioned the central government and local government to get the go-ahead and assistance to solicit cash and labor locally to assist with building a new track and field complex in central Andros. That is what I call local government in action, and I commend you on that achievement.
She also challenged them to do their best to cultivate a sense of responsibility for community and country.
Sowing into the lives of those who may not be able to see the bigger picture as you are able to see at this stage in your lives. And that if you can help some of your peers along the way to recognize the sense of responsibility that even at this age that you have towards your islands, towards your communities, and towards your country, I think that any kind of initiative in that direction is commendable and should be encouraged for future generations.
For Nkiri, ZNS Network News.
The program Hands for Hunger is making its final preparations for its marquee event this coming Saturday in the Atlantis Grand Ballroom. It's called Paradise Plates, and organizers say it will be a celebration of all things food. I'm trying to figure out why I got this story. Now, the event will be held from 7 to 11, and it will feature the island's top chefs and, of course, beverage purveyors.
You can expect when you enter is just booths set up throughout the perimeter of the room. You're invited to sip and sample. There's also a phenomenal silent auction this year. So bid away, dance to the sounds of the traffic band, DJ Kiddo, and a Junkanoo rush out. It really is a phenomenal jam-packed 4-hour event that allows Hands for Hunger to raise the necessary funds that we need to keep us operational throughout the year. Every year we set a goal to raise over $100,000 to fuel our mission. This money goes towards our programs and our operations. We have food rescue and distribution, research and education as well.
Tickets can be bought from several locations, including Hands for Hunger on Blake Road and then the Bahamas Vision Center in the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza. Hands for Hunger is a Bahamian non-profit organization dedicated to eliminating unnecessary hunger and unnecessary food waste. Bancroft says they're hoping to raise $100,000 through the Paradise Plates program to help with its own programs.
We have 2 refrigerated trucks that set out 6 days a week to collect surplus food, high quality food from our donor agencies. These are restaurants, farms, resorts that are donating this food into the Hands for Hunger trucks so that by the afternoon we can redistribute that food to 14 feeding agencies.
Meanwhile, condolences continue to pour in on the passing of Ken Perigord. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration Fred Mitchell, in a statement, said the businessman was a good person and simply wanted to help whenever and wherever he could.
He was admired for his pioneering spirit and his contribution to the Bahamas Petroleum Dealers Association. Condolences are extended to his family. Perigord was 68 years old.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The Bahamas' pristine blue waters could once again be the backdrop of another major film. Film producer Andrew Irwin just wrapped up his new film Woodlawn, which stars actress Sherry Shepherd. Recently, the two were a part of a delegation of about 20 journalists who were invited on a special familiarization trip to the Bahamas, led by pastor of Montego Full Gospel Church, Bishop Neil C. Ellis. Bishop Ellis partnered with the Ministry of Tourism to bring the group that visited New Providence and Bimini. After the tours, Irwin admitted that he fell in love with the Bahamas' natural beauty. In other business news, 30 students were recently honored for their academic achievement during an award ceremony hosted by the Fidelity Group of Companies. The students were recognized as a part of the Fidelity Pays for A's educational program, in which the children of Fidelity staff members in grades 1 through 12 receive financial awards for A's earned on their report cards and for national examinations. Chairman of the Fidelity Group of Companies, Anwar Sandaji, said for students to reach their highest level of academic achievement, parents need to have an active and engaged role in their lives. And in international business news, something for the Coca-Cola lovers out there. In a matter of days, making your own glass of Coca-Cola may be possible. This is Carrick Green Mountain says it will begin selling a machine that makes a single servings of cold beverages that would include Coke, Sprite, and Dr. Pepper. The machine Carrick Cold will retail for about $300. It's similar to the concept of Carrick Brews, which lets users make coffee or tea by inserting a pot into a machine and starting it up. It remains to be seen how much the world's biggest soda maker is betting on the machine, as it has a 16.8% stake in Carrick Green Mountain. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Juanita Swain.
Okay, vintage beauty was on display in Eleuthera on the weekend. And no, we're not talking about our own Charles Fisher, who was there, not the beauty, he was there for a worthy cause.
He tells us all about the special event in this report.
22 of the most exotic cars on display in Governor's Harbor are beauty on the eyes, and all for a worthwhile cause for the 4th Ali's Antique Auto Show. Concerned citizens of Eleuthera organizer Indira Rule.
Out of it, it's a charity contribution for the island. And for this year, we chose to purchase road reflectors. We've already put down a few in an area that's called Dead Man's Curve. We can't do anything about people speeding if they're drunk, but we can help with lighting up the road so they can see where the curve is, where the tree is, where the ditch is. And so that's one of the ways we thought we'd be able to help make Eleuthera Road safer. Eleuthera is 110 miles of roadway. It's curvy, it's hilly, and most of our accidents sadly are fatal.
Secretary of the Antique Auto Club of the Bahamas, Murray Ford.
I think it's a great thing to support. This is the 4th year they've had it. It's the 4th year we've come. We had a few more cars last year. I think the threat of the rain caused some of us not to come, but we got, I think, 8 cars here from Nassau. We come over, some of the fellows came over on Thursday, and the rest of us came yesterday. And it's a good cause to support, and it's good fun and good fellowship.
Auto Club always in a helping mood, having started back in 1987.
We always pick a charity involving children as a beneficiary, as does Kiwanis. They have their own community service charities. And this year we picked the Old Bite Mission Home in Cat Island. It's a children's orphanage, and they needed a lot of appliances. And we have bought some refrigerator and a stove and some freezers, and they were sent up. They've gone on the boat up to Cat Island. We do something like that every year. Most of the time it's a charity in Nassau, but a few times we've tried to use the Family Islands.
A good gesture by the Antique Auto Club of the Bahamas and the Eleuthera Concerned Citizens Group. For the ZNS News Network, I'm Charles Fisher.
Is all your vintage beauty?
The Family Island Connection, brought to you by BTC, is up next.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight. She's young, futuristic, and she's found her niche. And in tonight's BTC Island Connection, we tell you how BTC is helping the young entrepreneur get her message across and keep Abaco businesses going strong. Here's Keisha Adderley.
Trademark in color. The Yellow Pages. It's one of the oldest forms of advertisement. And after decades, sales representative Melissa Newbold had this response when asked if it still stacks up amidst electronic domination.
It surely is, Keishla. What happened is we know that technology fails you at times. We know that our telephones go out sometimes. We know that our cell phones go down. And we know that good, faithful directory is always there, ready, able to assist in any way.
Claire Baisden has made use of it. She's stepping into her 2nd year of business as CEO of Your Finance, a company she started to correct a lingering problem and address a new element of doing business.
When they spoke about VAT
okay? And I came back here in 2009 and I noticed that a lot of small businesses would pop up and shut down. And so I was like, okay, maybe they have issues with operations or they don't have the skill set and there's nobody here that could assist them at an affordable rate. So when they initiated VAT, I was like, okay, there will definitely be a need for accounting services, someone to file tax returns, business planning, etc. So that's what brought about Your Finance.
And she has no problem staying in touch with clients and prospectives. BTC has made sure of that.
Well, first I started out with just a mobile postpaid, and they've been very helpful with that. I've had no problems with my cell phone service. And then when I opened the office probably 2 weeks ago, they assisted. They came in the next day when I went in and applied, and it's been great ever since. Internet is very fast. I could browse more than one window at a time, and it's speedy. So it's a good service. I enjoy it.
When Bazin is ready to take her business to the next level, it's clear who she'll be calling on. Keishla Adderley for the BTC Island Connection.